Hello and welcome to the CX Files podcast. I'm your host, Mark Hillary. Jonas Dahlberg is the CEO and president of Transcom. He's based in Stockholm in Sweden. Transcom has a team of over 26,000 people working across 22 countries using 33 languages. Jonas likes to say that they're big enough to really matter, but small enough to still listen to their clients. In this episode, Jonas talks about BPO and CX in the post-COVID environment, and especially what's going to happen to contact centers in 2021. Okay, let's go straight to the interview. Okay, Jonas, thanks for taking the time to do this interview. Now, clearly in 2020, customer care is in a state of flux. People say the world of work itself is changing. We might never see bricks and mortar to the same scale that we used to have it. Clearly, there was a big pivot to agents working from home, but this is something that's affected every company in this industry. I mean, just to open up the discussion, could you just tell me how did you manage 2020 and have things managed to settle down now?
Yes, I mean, I think we have managed it extremely well, I must say, in particular, given the very difficult circumstances. We are actually exceeding our targets for this year, despite COVID and despite having about 50% of our staff work at home. On a like-for-like basis, we're actually growing more than 15% currently. And, we were fortunate to have a very strong work-at-home capability in-house. In the US, we've been running a work-at-home business, focused work-at-home business since years. And this has been truly valuable for us when we had to shift, half of the workforce to work at home. But, having that said, I mean, moving half of the business work at home in 3 weeks is something very different from implementing sort of a dedicated work at home model, which is designed from the outset to be work at home. We call it lift and shift. We basically boxed up the contact centers and sent them home to agents. And we hoped that it would work. And it did. And thanks to heroic efforts from everyone in the organization. And with some luck, we made it work. And I want to extend a huge thanks to all of our people, but also to our clients, because this was a partnership where we had to work very closely together to make it happen. But we did, and we served our customers.
That's great. I mean, and it's great to hear about the good results as well.
No, absolutely. And I think what's amazing to see after the initial turmoil, there were a couple of weeks in March and April where I have to admit that there were a few weeks of bad sleep. We couldn't be sure that it would work as well as it did, but it did, and now customer satisfaction is where it needs to be. Interestingly, our staff seems to be more satisfied about work than before, and productivity is largely where it should be, but it's not perfect. But for a sort of a boxed up contact center operation, I think we're doing tremendously well, and now we're trimming the engine for next year and onwards.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to ask you about then. This idea that analysts are talking about the new normal, and we're not necessarily going to see a return to how things were in 2019. A lot of your clients are probably now much more focused on resilience. So they may be asking you to continue, maybe blend work from home with some contact center. I mean, are we going to see a change in the way that contact centers are used? Maybe smaller contact centers and a blended solution as normal?
I definitely think so. I think we're going to see a mix. And I think it boils down to the reason why we exist. The reason we exist is because our clients, they want to have a great customer experience at the right cost. And quite honestly, I don't think from a sort of factual point of view, they should care about where the services are delivered. But they've been pretty traditional. Both our clients and this industry has been traditional. So I think work at home, it moves from a niche to really become a serious delivery model in many ways. But I don't think it's digital. It's not just, either it's completely work at home or completely non-work at home or brick and mortars. I think we're going to see hybrids. And I mean, a lot of this will be driven by, the talent pool. It's a matter of not so much about, reducing costs, but, to tap into a motivated and great talent pool. And in talent pool, I think, many of us, all of us, question, why do we commute to offices every day? It's just a simple question, why? And I think we were stuck in old habits. It's sort of a remnant from the Industrial Revolution, where farmers became workers, and we moved to cities and had to commute to work, and the office came with it. And with modern technology, why would you need to commute every day? Still, I believe we can't underestimate the need of social interactions to build teams and to drive creativity. And there are certain jobs which simply can't be done from home. And I think this is also true in our industry. So I believe we'll see an increase of work at home going forward, definitely. Not mainly for cost, but to attract the right talent. But also I believe, in hybrid models, and I believe for some services, examples where there's a tight security needed, they will stay in a brick and mortar model. So it's going to be a mix. Yeah. At the end, I think decisions are largely driven by client preferences, but they are moving now, the preferences. I think everyone sees that it works in a work at home model.
Yeah, that's great. And part of that hybrid solution that you mentioned will also include a lot more digital services, a lot more automation. But, if you go out and ask customers today what they think about chatbots, normally it's always going to be a negative response. So why is it that people have this attitude right now?
I mean, oh man, you just need to go to yourself. We've experienced these bots, haven't we? And for anyone that believe that AI will take over, I'm just saying, how was your last conversation with your digital assistant? It's not a great experience. And in particular this year, we had a lot of bots instead of human interactions, just to deal with the flow, the massive increase in the ticket flow. It's all, as always with technology, you need to understand where to deploy it and how. And where is the human superior? And there's definitely a lot of potential to improve both customer satisfaction and productivity using technology, but you need to do it right.
Yeah, and quite often I think that it's been done as just part of a deflection strategy. If we put a chatbot, then it will deflect calls away from the contact center. But how do we make it a more integrated part of the journey then?
and that's an interesting notion, right? Let's deflect our customers. Look, I don't think anyone truly want to call a contact center. That's not just what you want to do. You do so because you need to. I mean, the modern consumer want to do sort of effortless self-service and use technology, and when they're calling, they are really in trouble, and then you need to support them. So I don't think it's a great strategy to deflect your customers. But I think this is an evolution rather than a revolution. I mean, it's a cliche, but I think still it's true. The future is already here. It's just unevenly distributed. So there are great implementations out there. And I think it starts by truly understanding the customer journey and each technology, and then apply it, the right tool to the right problem. And I don't think there's a silver bullet here. It's just evolution and hard work. And I believe actually, as BPOs, we are uniquely positioned to support this transition. Simply because the tech vendors they don't understand the customer journey, and our clients well, sometimes we understand better than our clients, but they are stuck in their legacy, and I think we have we're in a sweet spot to support our clients, leveraging the best practices we see elsewhere, leveraging the right technologies, and help to challenge our clients. But then we also need to move ourselves from being sort of the traditional seat providers to dare to challenge and inspire our clients.
Yeah, that's interesting, because it seems that if you've gone through a smart automation system, a good self-service FAQ, by the time you get to an agent, then you've probably got quite a complex problem that can't easily be fixed. And so the customer does need help. So is this going to elevate the agents to become, treated more like experts, and maybe you'll hire them for their expertise rather than just their customer service skills?
No, definitely. I think that's going to happen. And I think this is what happens in any industry where technology takes out sort of routine tasks. Going to my previous experience, I'm coming from the engineering and architecture industry. The draftsman disappeared during the 90s because of computer-aided design and later, 3D modeling. The same with quantitative surveyors. That's now largely managed by machines. The process industry, automation has taken over the work for machine operators. Left are tasks of much higher value in a lot of dimensions. So I think the same is true for customer services. And there's plenty of room to take out non-value adding activities. Equally, I believe, high touch customer service and interaction between people is key. If you're going to build some affinity to your brand, you need people, but you need the right people, and then you need people who are sort of not worn down with all the routine tasks. Again, I think very few consumers actually want to make the call, but when they do, then you need to provide the right service because then you build loyalty, and then deflecting them is probably not the right strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. And all of the things that we hear about, the innovations in customer service, are around data analytics, automation, omni-channel. But at the end of the day, like you said, the customer probably doesn't want to make the call. So how do we just make it as simple as possible for the customer then?
Yeah, I think I've been thinking a lot of this, and I don't think there's any silver bullet here. I think it is a lot up to us to propose solutions to our clients and get out in this order receiving, order taking mode and become more of advisors. And I think parts of tech BPO is doing a better job than what we do in customer services. So I think we can learn something from them. Still, no silver bullet, hard work, and then different attitude from us being more of an advisor to our clients.
Okay, and so just finally then, clearly there's good news regarding vaccines for COVID. It looks like we should see some kind of normality next year. What are you looking forward to in quarter one? What are you looking forward to in 2021?
I think the return to the next normal is definitely the theme of 2021. I don't know, maybe you were hoping for another non-obvious answer. I think we're all tired of this pandemic and like to talk about something else. But honestly, that's how I see it. And even though it's obvious, and I'm convinced there will actually be a next normal, and it's going to be different than the past. The first obvious is the accelerated shift from sort of the walking-in sort of physical economy to digital commerce. And, that's a trend that's been going on for a while, but, COVID would definitely accelerate it. And this will drive demand of customer services. But I think the new trend here is work at home. And this is for, the entire humanity, not just for customer services. And if you look at digital commerce, the pandemic provides acceleration. I think for work at home, this is rather, igniting something new. The concept of working at office has been the norm, and the pandemic sort of rocks the behavior system out of its equilibrium. And it's a little bit like Tesla rocked the automotive industry of its combustion engine norm. There was something there with peak oil and sustainability, but very little happened, and something had to sort of rock the system out of its equilibrium, and that's what the pandemic does, I think, to work at home. But for Q1, for us, it's about the priorities we have. It's profitable growth through client focus and operational excellence, and it's all about culture and leadership to make that happen. And it's about our two missions in COVID. It's about keep people safe, and doing so we also avoid further transmission of the virus in society. But it's also about keep serving our clients and support their customers who are actually distanced from physical channels and truly need support. So Q1 very much a continuation, and then hopefully we get the vaccine going, and then we can get some normality.
Thanks for downloading the CX Files podcast. If you have a moment, please give us a star rating or review on your favourite podcast provider, because this really helps other people to find the podcast. If you have any suggestions for future guests, or ideas, people or topics, then please just find myself, Mark Hillary, or Peter Ryan on LinkedIn and send a suggestion.